My name is Daniel. I'm 34 years old. And just last week, I thought I was living the kind of life other people envied. I had the job, the house, the wife, the child. Everything I ever dreamed of, all checked off like a well-organized to-do list. I even used to joke with friends that I beat the game early. They were still out partying or swiping on apps. I was home by 7, helping my daughter put her tiny socks on. And you know what? I loved that. I didn't miss the chaos. I didn't miss the clubs. I didn't want anything else. I had Elise. We'd been together 11 years. Married for 6. She was the first woman I ever truly opened up to. She made me better, sharper, calmer, more patient. She challenged me, but in a way that made me feel like I could take on the world as long as she was standing next to me. When we had our daughter, Lily, it felt like life went from color to full technicolor. I remember holding her the night she was born, and Elise, sweaty and crying, looked at me and whispered, "We made her." God, I've never felt prouder than in that moment. We were a team, a real one. Or so I believed. It started small. Elise became distant, not cold, just slightly removed. She started going out more, taking mental health nights, joining social groups. She said motherhood was starting to feel suffocating. I didn't question it. I encouraged it, actually. I wanted her to have a life outside of diapers and feedings and sleep schedules. I told her to go, to breathe, to live. When she mentioned a 4-day bachelorette cruise for an old college friend I'd never met, I said yes without hesitation. I even packed her travel toiletries while she wrangled Lily into a nap. That was 4 days ago. Now flash forward to tonight. Monday, 7:41 p.m. Lily had just had her bath. I was drying her curls with a towel that still smelled like Elise's shampoo. She was giggling, pointing at the TV, asking for Blue Puppy Show. Her usual tablet was dead, and my phone was updating. So I reached for Elise's iPad. It was sitting on the dresser, unlocked. I grabbed it without a second thought. I wish I hadn't. At first, it was just a buzz. A message notification sliding across the top of the screen. From someone named Ty. I almost ignored it, until I saw the heart emoji. And then the words. "Miss you already. Can't stop thinking about last night." I froze. My thumb hovered above the screen. I didn't want to tap it, but I did. What opened next shattered me. There were messages. Dozens. Hundreds. Going back months. Photos of them in hotel rooms. Selfies in a car I didn't recognize. Voice notes with laughing, whispers, sighs. And in the middle of all of it, a screenshot of cruise tickets. 2 names. Hers and his. The bachelorette cruise was never about a friend. It was their romantic getaway. I didn't drop the iPad. I didn't yell. Because Lily was sitting right next to me, reaching for goldfish crackers with her tiny hands, oblivious to the bomb going off inside her father's chest. And in that moment, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Hollow. Not angry. Not even heartbroken. Just empty. Like the entire foundation of my life had been quietly removed, and I was still standing only because I hadn't realized I was falling yet. Everything we built, every word, every plan, suddenly felt fake. How many nights did she kiss me goodnight after leaving his bed? How many times did she lie while smiling? How long had she been planning to leave, or worse, never leave, and just keep both lives running in parallel? That night, I put Lily to sleep. I held her longer than usual. I kissed her forehead 3 times instead of 1. And when I finally sat alone on the couch, with the iPad still in my hands and Elise's betrayal still burning in my chest, I realized. This wasn't the beginning of the end. This was the end of the illusion. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling while the iPad sat on the nightstand beside me like a ticking bomb that had already gone off. The light from the hallway spilled into the room, just enough to cast a faint glow across the pictures on the wall. Family portraits. Beach vacations. Our wedding photo, her veil flying in the breeze, my eyes locked on hers like she was the only woman in the world. Now all I could think was, how long had it been a lie? I started rewinding in my mind. Every birthday, every dinner, every girls' night she said she needed. I combed through memories like a detective desperate to find where the script changed. There was that Saturday 3 months ago. She'd left for a book club. She came back tipsy, smiling, a little too glowing. She kissed me on the mouth, then jumped into the shower before I could even ask how it went. Or the time she told me she had a work seminar out of town, and I'd offered to drive her to the station. She insisted on taking a cab. I remember how cold the goodbye kiss felt that morning. But I ignored it. Because that's what you do when you trust someone. You ignore the glitches. You explain them away. You protect them, even from your own suspicion. I thought I knew her. Elise was the woman who cried during Pixar movies, who folded my socks into perfect little rolls, who knew the exact way I liked my coffee and would leave notes like, "You've got this," in my jacket pocket before important meetings. She was kind. She was thoughtful. She was the mother of my child. And yet, there was a version of her I'd never met. The one who sent late-night voice notes to a stranger. The one who lied without flinching. The one who came home smelling like another man and hugged our daughter like nothing had happened. I started to feel sick. I got out of bed and paced the house barefoot. My chest was tight, my mind racing. I ended up in Lily's room. She was asleep in her crib, curled on her side, fingers twitching in a dream. I stood there for a long time, just watching her breathe. And in that moment, I realized something brutal. My daughter will never know what it's like to grow up in the version of love I believed in. Because that version didn't exist. At least not here. Not anymore. By morning, I had a plan. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. But I was going to get the truth. And I was going to decide, not as a broken man, but as a father, what came next. She came back on a Thursday. Late afternoon. The light outside had turned that soft golden color, the way it does when the day's almost over, but hasn't quite given up. I heard her car in the driveway. The soft beep of the remote. The click of the front door unlocking. And I waited. I was sitting at the kitchen table with the iPad in front of me. Screen blacked. Still, it might as well have been glowing. Burning through the surface. The whole truth, just a single tap away. She walked in with a smile. Not a guilty one. Not sheepish or cautious. A real smile. Like she'd just come back from a retreat. Like nothing was broken. Like our life wasn't now split in two. "Hey babe," she called, setting down her bag. "You would not believe the drama on this boat." She kissed me on the cheek. I didn't move. She paused, noticing the stiffness. "Everything okay? We need to talk," I said. That's all it took. The smile didn't fade, it vanished. Like it had never been there. Like it had been wiped off by a hand she didn't see coming. She glanced down at the iPad, then back at me. Her voice was careful now, measured. "What's going on? Tell me about Ty." The words hung in the air like smoke. A beat of silence. "Who? Ty," I said again. "The man you've been sending hotel selfies to. The one you bought cruise tickets with. The one you told you loved while I was giving our daughter a bath." Her mouth opened slightly. No sound came out. Just breath. Then, the defense kicked in. "Daniel, I can explain." "Don't," I said. "Calm. Too calm. Don't insult either of us with that." She sat down slowly across from me, suddenly smaller than I remembered. "It didn't mean anything. You lied to my face for months," I said. "Every time you kissed me. Every time you said girls' night. Every time you smiled at Lily while hiding what you were doing." Her hands were trembling. "I didn't mean to hurt you." I nodded. Because of course she didn't. People like her rarely mean to. But they do it anyway, and expect the apology to erase the damage. "How long?" I asked. She hesitated. 8 months, she whispered. 8 months. 240 days. A lifetime, if you count it in lies. "Were you ever going to tell me?" I asked. She shook her head. I thought maybe I could stop. But you didn't." Silence. "I was tired," she said. "Tired of being just a mom. Just a wife." I felt invisible. "So you chose to erase me instead," I said. I stood up. She reached for my hand. I didn't offer it. "I'm not yelling because I don't want Lily to hear this," I said. "I'm not screaming because I don't want to scare her. But understand this, Elise, I will never trust you again. And I don't think I can forgive what you did, not just to me, but to our family." Her eyes filled with tears. "Not the kind that fall when you're sorry. The kind that fall when you're caught." "What do we do now?" she whispered. I looked at her, and for the first time in years, I didn't see my wife. I saw a stranger wearing her face. We survived this. Separately. The day after the confrontation, the house felt wrong. Not empty. Just too still. Like it was holding its breath. Elise was gone. She packed a bag. No drama. No last-minute fights. No begging. Just silence. She said she'd stay with her sister for a while. Said we both needed space. She hugged Lily goodbye. Told her she loved her. Lily just clapped and smiled, not understanding that something had changed. Something permanent. That night, I sat on the floor beside my daughter's crib, staring at the ceiling, asking myself the same question over and over. What do you tell a 1-year-old? How do you explain to a child who still calls every animal dog that their mother isn't coming home tonight? That the bedtime routine she's known for a year, Mommy sings, Daddy rocks, is now down to one voice? That pancakes on Sundays won't be the same anymore? The truth is, you don't. You don't tell a 1-year-old anything. You hold her. You tuck her in. You kiss her forehead twice, maybe 3 times. And then you go into the hallway and fall apart as quietly as you can. In the following days, I tried to function. Diapers, dishes, work emails, naps. I smiled for Lily, played peekaboo, pretended to forget that the nursery used to feel full, and now just echoed with the weight of everything left unsaid. But at night, when the house went dark, when the quiet wrapped around me, I replayed it all in my mind. The messages, the lies, her face when I said tie, and what haunted me most was how normal she made it all feel. Like cheating was just a detour, a bad month, a phase, like it didn't ruin something sacred. I started therapy. I needed to, because anger is loud, but grief is quiet. And no one prepares you for the grief of losing someone who's still alive. One morning, Lily pointed to a framed photo of the 3 of us at the beach. She said, "Mama," and kissed the glass. I nodded, said, "Yes, that's Mama," and smiled. And then I turned away before she could see my eyes. Because there are some things a 1-year-old should never have to understand, and some things a father should never have to explain. It started as a note on my phone. I wasn't even planning to write it. But one night, around 2 a.m., after Lily had another teething cry and I was lying in bed staring at the ceiling again, it just came out, line by line, word by word, not out of anger, not to hurt her, just to say everything I never got the chance to when the shock took my voice away. I didn't plan to send it. I didn't need to, because it wasn't for her. It was for me. Elise, you told me once that I was too calm, that you never knew what I was really feeling. Here it is. You broke something in me I didn't think could break. Not because you cheated, but because you did it while holding my hand and calling me your best friend. You looked me in the eyes every day while building a second life behind my back. You didn't just lie. You rehearsed it. You performed it. And you expected applause for keeping the act going. The worst part? I still wanted to forgive you. Even after everything, I wanted to find a way back. Not for you, for the family, for our daughter. But you made that impossible. You never came back to fix things. You came back hoping I wouldn't notice. And when I did, you minimized it, tried to shape it into a mistake instead of a decision, But it was a decision, Every time you texted him, every time you kissed him, every time you smiled at me and pretended. You chose this, and I'm choosing not to carry it anymore. You don't owe me closure, but I owe myself peace. And I'm taking it back, not through revenge, through distance. This will be the last time I speak to you in my head. I hope one day, you look back and realize you didn't just lose a husband. You lost the one person who would have stayed through anything, except this. Daniel. I saved it as a draft. Never hit send. Didn't need to. Because saying it out loud, even to no one, was the beginning of something new. Not healing. Not yet. But breathing again. It didn't happen all at once. There was no single day where I woke up and said, I'm over it. No sunrise that erased everything. No book or quote or moment of clarity that snapped me back into place. It came in small pieces. Like when I took off my wedding ring and didn't cry. Or when I walked past a restaurant we used to go to and didn't flinch. Or when Lily laughed so hard one morning she fell over. And for the first time in weeks, I laughed too. Not forced. Not out of habit. But because the joy was louder than the memory. I cleaned the house one Sunday. Really cleaned it. I boxed up things that didn't hurt anymore, but no longer belonged here. Her sandals at the door, the dried up lipstick in the bathroom drawer, the framed photo in the hallway that used to feel sacred. I didn't burn them. Didn't smash anything. I just let them go. Because that's what healing looks like sometimes. Not revenge. Not a dramatic goodbye. Just letting go. I still think about her. Not every day. Not with longing. More like you think of a dream you once had. Vivid, confusing, and somehow both real and not. She'll always be part of my story. Not the villain. Not the victim. Just the chapter that ended. And now? Now I wake up to a little girl calling Dada through the monitor. I make coffee. Pack tiny lunches. Read books about ducks and dinosaurs. I laugh more. Breathe deeper. Sleep better. Not because everything's fixed, but because I'm no longer pretending anything's broken that isn't. Peace isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself with trumpets or closure speeches. It arrives slowly, quietly, like a room that used to echo with pain, and now just sounds like home again.